What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 14, Episode number 2. The episode is titled All Aboard the Gaslight Express. And baby, was it a Gaslight Express ever? So before we go ahead and jump into this review, I do want to take a minute to say, I forgot to say Happy Mother's Day to everyone yesterday when I did my Love and Marriage Huntsville review, but I'm saying it to you today. Happy late Mother's Day. Yesterday was just a little bit of a hard day for me. It's been 5 years since I lost my mom, so it's just really kind of hard for me. But I do know that I have a big following that's women, and I know some of you are mothers, so I hope you ladies had a great day. And with that, let's get into the video. But before we do that, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and are not subscribed, I'm gonna need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. Do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notification bell buttons, and sharing the video, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let us discuss the Real Housewives of Atlanta, shall we? Alright, you guys, so the first person we're going to discuss is going to be Miss Sanyo Richards-Ross, right? Now, I know we're 2 episodes in, right? And I know that they say, Sanya's a breath of fresh air and whatnot, right? And I think I'm going to like Sanya, but her first 2 scenes of the season, her solo scenes, I've been a little bit on the Bizord side, right? It's cute seeing her family and whatnot. Now, when she said it was 9 people living in that damn house, I'm like, damn, how many rooms are there? So it's Sanya and Ross and their son Deuce living in the house together. It's her mama and her daddy. And then it's her sister, her husband, and her 2 sons. I was like, girl, that is a house full of people. So her mom, I think her mama just got back from Jamaica. She brought some Jamaican beef patties with her. They had a little argument about the beef patties. So we also, I think Sanya said this, and I could be wrong. You guys can correct me if I am wrong. I know for a fact she said that her sister's her hairstylist, right? Did she say her mom manages her? You guys can correct me in the comment section about that one. But yeah, it really wasn't much with Sanya in this scene per se. But I like Sanya. I'm giving Sanya. I like Sanya. Like I said in episode 1, I'm going into season 14. Everybody has a fresh, clean slate. Now, will I still throw shade? Absolutely, it's going to happen, right? But everybody has a clean, fresh slate going into season 14. So that's it for Sanya. Let's pause here and move forward. I heard you guys, She Ain't Got It, aka Sheree. Say what you will about Sheree, right? That house, it may have taken her some time to build that house and whatnot, but that house is badass. Like, I gotta hand it to Sheree. That house, that basement. When Kenya's coming over to Sheree's house, right? When Sheree took Kenya down to that basement, because you guys remember season 9 finale, when Kenya and Kim got into it with each other because Kenya and Candy went down into Sheree's basement that wasn't finished at the time, right? Well, that basement is finished now. It got a salon, like a massage parlor, a bar. I was really thinking, like, girl, who paid for that? Don't let it be a situation where you ain't paid your taxes, Sheree. Because y'all know Sheree, they always talking about Sheree ain't paying this and paying that. Girl, I hope everything is on the up and up with that, Sheree. I really hope everything is on the up and up. I hope Sheree paid for everything, because the issue she had with not paying the contractors. Sheree, I just hope you pay people. I hope you pay people, right? So, Sheree basically just done picked up where she left off. Sheree is picking up as if she has not left this show, right? She Ain't Got It came back in with the Bone Collector, but I feel like she's also kind of passing the baton over to Sanya. So they talk about Marlo's gala, right? And She Ain't Got It said, well, I could have worn my joggers. Which ones, girl? Which ones? Not them She Ain't Got It joggers, but okay. So, Kenya was talking about how she didn't like how pretentious Marlo was being, right? And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, but Kenya, that's been Marlo this entire time that we've known her. Marlo has always come off very pretentious. But okay, if you didn't like it, you didn't like it, right? So she ain't got it. She tells Kenya what Marlo said, how she was living in that hotel or apartment or wherever the hell she was living at with the white refrigerators. Like anybody did not know that, right? Now, the one thing that she said that we did not know was allegedly Kenya drove Lisa Ray's car, right? Kenya says she doesn't know Lisa Ray, right? Producers pulled up a photo of Kenya with Sheree. I mean, not with Sheree, with Lisa Ray. I don't care, right? So then somehow we got on the subject of Drew. They were talking about Drew's situation with her assistant. I'm like, here we go, bringing the mess. But hey, it's a show. They got to do it, right? So we found out that I believe Drew left her gift bag and her phone. So Sheree has it. So Drew has to come and get it, right? So this is where, what's her name? Kenya was talking about the fact that Drew and Sheree share an assistant, right? Now, Kenya got this information from Candy. I was like, here we go with Candy spreading the mess, right? So Drew told Candy that she and Sheree share an assistant. It was an assistant that was extra as fuck when Candy came over to the house, right? Now, I did find out this tidbit of information when I was watching Scotty's panel last week, right? That assistant that was being extra, he was also on Basketball Wives. Now, you guys know, I haven't watched Basketball Wives in some years. So I don't know the situation that happened between that assistant, Jackie, Malaysia, and Jennifer. I don't know the situation, but I do know that people said he went around spreading somebody's business. I think it was Malaysia's business. I don't know. Feel free to let me know in the comment section. Speaking of Basketball Wives, I think Basketball Wives returns next Monday. So I'm going to give Basketball Wives one shot, you guys. They got one chance. I'm going to give them 2 episodes, though. I'm going to give them 2 episodes. The first episode, we're going to begin, I know we're going to probably begin reintroduced to the girls who have left the show and came back. So I'm going to give them 2 episodes. 2. If they piss me off in the second episode, we're done. But I'm going to give it at least 2. I'm going to give it at least 2, and we'll see how we like it, right? So this assistant, I guess he's been going around telling Drew that Sheree doesn't pay him. So Sheree says that she doesn't really use him. She uses him when she needs him, right? And Sheree was in her feelings about Drew. And I'm like, what did Drew do? Unless Drew went around and told all the women that you weren't paying the boy, I could see that. But even still, that ain't got nothing. I don't know. It is what it is, right? Let me know what you guys think and feel about that. And we'll move forward. Y'all, I literally cannot with Drew and Ralph. I really can't. I like Drew, but her storyline it's gonna work my nerves. So we see Drew and Ralph, they're having dinner with the family, right? So they're talking about, Marlo's event, right? And she mentioned to Ralph that, Candy found that assistant on Instagram, right? And what the assistant said on social media, right? Ralph comes at Drew with the Jedi mind trick shit. And I'm like, Drew, you literally just sat there and listened to that shit? Drew is better than me because I just don't think I can sit and listen to the shit that Ralph spews out. Because I would cuss Ralph out, literally and figuratively. I would cuss Ralph up, down, left to right. That's how bad Ralph would get cussed out, right? Ralph would be like, well, damn. What did I do? Everything. Because Ralph is gaslighting the hell out of Drew. And she had to look up what the definition of gaslight was. You know what? I ain't even going to shade Drew on that one because, girl, I have to look it up too. Not in this instance, but I did have to look up gaslight at one point to make sure that I was using it in the correct format. Because I think a lot of people say gaslight and they don't really know what the term means, right? So I had to look it up to make sure I was using it correctly. And I looked it up last season with Love and Marriage Huntsville with Martell to make sure that I was using the term correctly because that is what he is. Actually, you know what? Ralph really does give you Martell Hope vibes. Literally, he gives you Martell Hope vibes. Girl, I hope he ain't cheating on you because if he is going to give you the blues just like Martell gave Melody the blues. But hey, it is what it is, right? So Ralph says that he fires the woman, right? And she says, oh, that's good. But he hasn't ceased communication with the woman. I'm like, you fired her, but you're still talking to her. On what planet does that make any logical sense to fire the person, but you're going to still have communications with her? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm going to fire you, but I'm going to still communicate with you. Then Ralph is talking about this woman is in her 50s. What the fuck does that mean that she's in her 50s? Are you saying that she is... What are you trying to say, Ralph? I'm just confused. What are you trying to say? She's in her 50s. That's not old. You're almost 40. So that means she's that means she's 10 years plus older than you. What the hell does that mean that she's in her 50s? There are a lot of women in their 50s who look very good look good. Toni Braxton in her 50s, still just as fine as she was 20, 30 years ago. So what does that mean, Ralph? What the hell does that mean? He's playing games with Drew. I don't know if I'm going to be able to deal with Drew and Ralph's storyline. I just really don't. I really, truly don't think I'm going to be able to deal with their storyline, right? It's two storylines that I don't know if I'm going to be able to deal with. It's Ralph and Drew, and it's Kandi and Todd. So actually, let's throw in this in, because I don't know why they gave us this long-ass scene with the men. They went out, Ralph, Aaron, and Todd. So Todd is the oldest of the men. Todd is the oldest. Todd is 48. Ralph is 38. He said he's 39, but then he said he's 38. I think Aaron is 39, right? Aaron's talking about how he wants to have more kids, right? But Sanyo's not with it. Todd is talking about his relationship with Kandi. I'm like, Todd, you got it made though, dude. Because you talking about you be at home with the kids. Okay, you know what? I'm going to keep my opinions to myself about Todd. Then they talked about Ralph. Again, Gaslight. I can't with Ralph. Good looking man, but I can't with Ralph. So then we see Drew, and I just got to ask the question, why does Drew have so many assistants? It said assistant number 3. I'm like, Drew, what do you do to have that many assistants? Girl, one is enough. You know what? If Drew got the money for 3 assistants, Drew got the money for 3 assistants. And who am I to count somebody's pockets? Have at it, Drew. So Drew and Ralph, they're having a date night. I will say, I like Drew's wig. I like that dress. I know social media hated that dress. What I hated was Drew's makeup. Her makeup was just a no for me. It was too dark. So they're having dinner at his tailor's shop. I was like, your tailor's shop? Why are we here? You know, Ralph is just a rude ass person, right? Like, listen, sitting there, the more he was sitting there and he was gaslighting Drew. He kept gaslighting her. He got upset about her when she used the term maniac, right? I was like, oh my God. Then she started crying at one point. She got up and walked away from the table. Ralph didn't even go and console her. I'm like, dude, your wife is crying and you can't even be bothered to go to your wife? Okay. Again, I like Drew. Drew, if you come back for a 3rd season, I'm going to need us to work on these storylines. I'm going to need us to work on this storyline. I really need you to work on this storyline because I can kind of see that the producers semi-like you. But we got to work on it. We got to work on the storyline. We got to work on it. Let's pause here and move forward, you guys. All right, you guys, next up, let's talk about Kandi Burruss. So we see Kandi. So Kandi, she's on the phone with her producer, right? Or her producing partner, I think, for the stage play that she was producing, Thoughts of a Colored Man. I believe that's the name of the stage play, right? So Todd comes in, right? Now she tells Todd that she's overwhelmed and that she needs him, right? So she tells him, but when you leave for trips, like that disrupts the flow of things in the house, right? And then Todd throws in her face that, well, I mean, you go off and do stuff too. She's like, I go off for work, Todd. You going to Miami. What are you going to Miami for? For a vacation. I was like, oh my God. Here we go with Candy and Todd playing in my face. First is Ralph and Drew. Now it's Candy and Todd, right? Then we see that they haven't finished their pool is not, there are certain parts of the house, it's the guest house. The parts of the guest house is not finished, right? Then we find out that Todd has an apartment in New Jersey. It's one that he got with his ex, but I guess she moved out. Something happened, so he now has it. He says it's empty, right? And, Candy feels that Todd should be more focused on their home there instead of the place up there in Jersey, right? He says, well, it could be a second place for them, right? She's like, no, because you got that place with someone else. I get it. And she says, and then my name is not on it. He says, my name isn't on this house. I'm like, oh, I see. For years, I would have thought that she would have done put his name on the house, but hey. Well, here's, and Mama Joe's be worried about her money, but never mind, because we're going to see that later in this season too. Oh. Okay. Let's pause here, you guys, and wrap up the episode. All right, you guys, next up, let's talk about Marlo. So we saw Marlo. So Marlo went to go see Candy while she was doing his photo shoot for Halloween, right? Candy goes all out for Halloween, and I love it. So Candy does give Marlo her props for her event, right? Despite the fact that Marlo cussed them from left to right? So then Marlo talks about her nephews, right? And how she feels like she's building two little monsters. And I love the conversation that she and Candy had. And basically Candy told her, like, you want people to be a village for you. You want people to do this for you and that for you. But you don't give that. So the friend that you want us to be is the friend you need to be to us, right? Because she's talking about Candy doesn't invite her over. Candy doesn't do this, Candy doesn't do that, and Candy's like, well, you want me to do that stuff, but what you want, you could give that back. And then she also said something to Marlo that is a good thing that I like, that she said, why is it that we as black people, the struggle, what is it with the struggle with us black people? I don't get it, right? I never had to struggle a day in my me and my mom never had to struggle. Never had to struggle. I had everything that I wanted. And to this day, I still do that, right? I get everything that I want. So I don't know anything about a struggle. I've never been in a struggle. I don't ever want to be in a struggle. Now, have I had my hardships? Absolutely. And if I have a hard time in my life, that's probably because I'm between jobs at the time. But when I'm working, I never struggle. I never struggle. I don't believe in struggle. If I got it, I got it. If I don't, it is what it is, right? But I don't believe in a struggle. Now, like I said, can you fall on hard times? That is part of life. That can happen to anybody. You can fall on a hard time. But a struggle, he don't know nothing about that. I ain't never had to struggle a day in my life, and I don't ever intend to, right? Now, what I will say about me is that I'm very frugal. That is my biggest downfall, is that I'm frugal. I really do need to get out of that, being frugal, but hey, it is what it is. So we also saw Marlo in this episode. So her nephew Michael, I believe, he's going to the homecoming dance. Marlo went and got him a suit. Now she said that suit cost $1,200. I'm like, Marlo, what kind of suit is this that costs $1,200? Because it didn't look like much to me, but hey, it is what it is. So Marlo, she does have a little bit of a help with her, right? Her managers, they're a husband and wife team, right? And they're good influences on her nephews, right? And I did tweet that her scenes are a little boring, but as her scenes are just a little bit boring. And I'll say why I say that, because I kind of feel like Marlo's scenes are a little bit staged, right? I feel like her scenes can be staged. But other than that, I do like seeing her in this Monty role, because even if you guys watch because I was watching the episode before last Sunday's episode with the producers' notes on it. It did say that Marlo and her nephews are not as clean as they want you to believe, right? But hey, it is what it is. That's the end of my notes, you guys. Please let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, share the video, and until the next time, you guys stay safe, take care of yourselves, remember to wash your hands, wear a mask, you guys, socially distance, be blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So you guys, I did watch that show, Love Match Atlanta. I don't know if I'm going to review it or not. If I do, you guys will see it tomorrow. I just don't know. That show just was not good to me. I was really bored watching it. I was waiting for Candy and the Gang to come on. But if I do review it, you'll see it tomorrow. You'll see it tomorrow, which is Tuesday, if I do review it. But that's it, you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one, which is Candy and the Gang. Bye, guys.